Thanks for staying with us. This is News Tonight. Moving on now to some sports-related updates. It certainly is an IPL Sunday if you're game for it. Two very interesting matches, one of which has already concluded. The Mumbai Indians thrashed the Delhi Boys by 8 wickets with 19 balls remaining. And then the other interesting encounter presently taking place at Navi Mumbai in the D.Y. Patil Stadium is, of course, debut performance by the Pune Warriors, headed by the Punjab da Puttar Yuvraj Singh, who is taking on his former team, Kings 11 Punjab, led by Adam Gilchrist. Now, the Yuvraj Singh-led Pune Warriors started their Indian Premier League journey aggressively as they dismissed the six Kings by 11 wickets rather quickly. Moving on now, remember Poona Pandey, the girl who had vowed to strip if India won the World Cup? Well, she has finally spoken up for the first time since India's World Cup victory. Now, Pandey claims that she went underground because she was scared for her life, and there's no stopping her now, as she is simply awaiting official permission from the BCCI to bear all. Well, on to some entertainment news now. The much-loved and successful Harry Potter franchise will come to an end when the final film, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, is released. The film is scheduled to release in July this year in the US. It was an emotional goodbye to Emma Watson, who plays one of the lead characters in the film. Here's an excerpt from the interview.
I will never forget being tortured by Helena Bonham Carter. I think that will stay with me for for a long, long time. I think that was just like a really intense scene, and I like the final act of Deathly Hallows is, well, I mean for both them, Part 1 and Part 2, but was really intense. So it did feel emotional. In a way, I felt quite numb though. I was sort of I was trying to kind of like come to terms with it and realise it, but I also knew that I had so much work ahead of me still. You know, I'm doing voice work for Part 2, and you know, Part 2 comes out this summer, and I'll do that whole kind of like, you know, there'll be the final hurrah and lots of premieres and interviews and all sorts. I knew I still had a lot of work left to do, so I was kind of trying to process it, but it didn't quite feel the end, and it's quite weird. It'll be like I feel like it'll be a long, drawn-out goodbye, really. Well, with that, it's a wrap on this bulletin. But before we conclude, a programming reminder for all our viewers. Up next, Executive Editor for English News, Sanjay Pinto, trails the opposition leader, J. Jayalalitha, on Follow the Leader. And finally, at 10:30 p.m, we have another special program for you. Don't miss the Tamil Nadu Election Yatra, a roundup of what the voters in rural Tamil Nadu really expect out of the leaders this time around. Thanks so much for watching.